I want to say that the role of the caregiver tends to be neglected, it tends to be underestimated, and sometimes the patient automatically gets attention because he or she is ill, but the caregiver's contribution is never taken or never appreciated because they seem to be okay. And we don't think that's the right thing. We think that caregivers are very special, and that I congratulate and commend you on being a good caregiver to your loved one. Well, to the caregivers, I would say that just like the cancer patient has been thrust into a journey with no preparation and with no warning and no training, so have you. And perhaps the caregiver's role is more difficult, if not as difficult as the cancer patient's journey, because you now become the bridge between that patient, your loved one, and the rest of the world who is also traumatized. And that in addition to your usual responsibilities, you now have the responsibility of accompanying your loved one to the hospital or to treatments or to look after them at home in terms of changing the diet, the way the house is run. You've got to deal with your own employment, your own priorities. You may have to deal with the children on your own. Maybe aging parents are there to be looked after. So suddenly what happens is that the load that was shared between two people suddenly falls onto the shoulders of one person, and there is an additional load that you have to deal with.
Yes.
Right? So caregivers are in a very strange and difficult position. So what we normally say to caregivers is to remember a few things. The first is that wear your oxygen mask first. Just like they say on a flight, that until you wear your oxygen mask, you can't help the person who's sitting next to you. So you have to look after yourself, you have to mind yourself, you have to care for yourself, you have to attend to yourself, and you have to make the time and the effort to be able to make yourself a priority. The second thing that we say is that you need to be realistic, because sometimes the cancer journey will put some unrealistic burdens on you. And if those burdens are unrealistic, then you must not hesitate to ask for help. Somehow in our culture there is this feeling that every burden that is placed on me is mine to handle and mine alone to handle. It's not so. There are plenty of resources out there, there are plenty of people who will come to your help, but you have to reach out and ask for it. The third I would say is that just like we encourage the thriver to see cancer as an opportunity for growth, we also encourage the caregiver to see your loved one's cancer as an opportunity for your growth. There is a lot that you can learn through reading books or by watching DVDs or by going to workshops or by joining support groups, which is not only going to benefit your loved one, but it's also going to benefit you in terms of your own growth. So we encourage you to see this adversity as a growth opportunity for yourself as well. Lastly, I want to say that the role of the caregiver tends to be neglected. It tends to be underestimated, and sometimes the patient automatically gets attention because he or she is ill, but the caregiver's contribution is never taken or never appreciated because they seem to be okay. And we don't think that's the right thing. We think that caregivers are very special, and that I congratulate and commend you on being a good caregiver to your loved one.